Hello everyone, I am Tacet and today I will be going over some really good free-to-play builds that people can build at the beginning of Gems of War. All of these troops that I will be going over are common and rare, so they'll be a lot cheaper to upgrade with souls. They won't use as many trait stones to get their traits, and they will be much easier to obtain from the gold and glory keys that will be somewhat abundant early on. So before I actually get into these themes, I'm going to click over to this options menu right here. It's the cog all the way to the right. And whenever you get into this game, as soon as possible, you'll want to turn on the show spell and mana details. Make sure that this box right here is checked. This will show all of the manas for all the troops within the game. Like even during the match, it'll show how much mana each troop needs until their spell is ready to cast. When you initially start this game, this box is left unchecked, just to not overwhelm new players, is the dev's explanation for it. But I would definitely advise turning it on as soon as possible, because it really helps understand the game. Let's get into the teams then. The first one I will be going over is Archon Statue, Wolf Knight, White, and Siren. This is basically the lower levels version of a true damage deck. In the first slot, we have Archon Statue, who does damage to the healthiest enemy, and if he is damaged, he'll do an extra 8 damage to that enemy. The healthiest enemy is determined by whatever enemy has the highest total HP and armor combination. Damage is determined by if this value right here of his HP is in the red. If it's in red, it'll do that entire 8 damage. One reason why this troop is really good early game is recently this bonus damage for him being damaged has been buffed, and he actually does more than double damage at lower levels if he is damaged. So he can do quite a bit of damage that way. A lot of damage, saying. Anyways, he's also, once you can start getting traits, he's also the only troop with stone skin that does double damage to a specific troop. And that's undead, so that will help with summons. That one troop that summons ghouls and things like that. And stone skin in first slot will make sure skull damage does not do too much. On to Wolf Knight, kind of similar to Archon Statue in that he does more than double damage at lower levels because he has a bonus 6 damage when he is attacking wounded enemies. Wounded is the same thing as being damaged for Archon Statue. If the enemy is in red health, this will do the additional 6 damage. And the main thing that he has that will be helpful once you start getting trait stones is he has armor piercing, which is a 50% chance that his skull damage will do true damage. So that on top of this will basically one-shot any enemy you have. White is pretty strong because he has a lifesteal. He both does true damage and gains the light from it. Plus he'll create purple gems that the Siren can use. You wouldn't really need more than his first trait if you're just starting off, because that will help make sure that he can get his spell up quickly. The rest you don't quite need. And of course Siren here, who will do damage to a target and will create 9 gems. 9 is currently tied with the most that any troop actually can create. So it'll create 9 of any enemy's gem. It'll do a random one if they have 2 or more mana colors on them. And another thing that'll do, if you can get her fully traded, you'll have empowered, so you can cast her from the very first turn. So this deck is basically just a shield with Archon Statue, and then you use both Wolf Knight and White to do all the true damage. One thing you also want to do when building teams early on, if you're using a variety of troops, is to make sure you cover every mana color. Like you see right here, the back 3 cover every mana color, and then you have a tank up front. So the second team. This is a pretty common farming team. One thing to mention is whenever you get the Valkyrie, you will want to upgrade her as soon as you find this card. She is the best soul farming card within the entire game. She transforms a selected mana color to blue, and then gives a bunch of souls. And you'll want to get at least up to her second trait, preferably her third. Her second one gives an extra 50%. It does it to the cap of 40 per match. It doesn't actually raise the cap, but it makes it a lot easier to get there. So you'll be getting about 40 souls or higher every single match then with it. And then you have Alchemist and Banshee. What you basically do with this team is Alchemist transforms all the yellow and then gives some gold as well. What Alchemist does is he fills both Valkyrie and Banshee, and then Banshee transforms all blues to red that the Valkyrie made, and then it refills Alchemist and Valkyrie, and then you pretty much just keep looping that until the end of the match. In the first slot, I just have the hero because early game, hero will be your tankiest troop, especially if you go to Sword's Edge and get the Knight class and switch the troop to, or switch the hero to the Knight class, it'll be even tankier in the first slot. And I just did the Daimonic Chaos Fish, or whatever you say that. I believe you get it at Blue Mastery 7 or somewhere around there, and it hits the weakest enemy. So you target Banshee with someone, and then hero will finish it off. So that's that team. Here is one that does a variety of things. We have Golem in the first slot who explodes a gem and then reduces all enemies' armor. And per every brown gem it destroys, it does an extra 1 armor reduction. It is probably one of the strongest commons in the game right now. Not just because of its ability that was recently buffed, but also because of its traits. It is the only troop in the entire game that has both Stone Skin and Impervious, making it one of the most unkillable troops in the game, yet it's only a common. So it's really easy to obtain, fairly easy to trait, and you'll be able to level it pretty quickly. It is probably the cheapest tank you can possibly form in the game. Next we have the Cyclops. He deals damage and boosts it by his attack at a 1-to-1 ratio. He has a pretty standard high attack, and his traits just add even more attack on top of him. One thing that makes him really good is if you buff him up with the Stargazer, who gives attack, removes the blues at 4-to-1 to give him even more attack. And she'll have the Blessed if you get that trait, an extra 1 attack for when you buff him up. And you can even cast it from the very first turn if you choose to do this one instead of Siren, because they do use the same colors. And then we have Dryad, who is really good at lower levels because she has a static 5 life gain, which is higher than quite a few other troops, even before level 10. Only her life heal scales by magic. The difference with life gain and life heal is life gain raises the magic of a troop, whereas life heal will just raise them to what their max is. She also applies a barrier to them, which prevents 1 instance of damage, and then creates 8 green on top of that, which will help fill Stargazer, who you can then recast on Cyclops. She also has an Impervious, which will go good with Golem to make sure that status effects won't do too much to you, and has another Blessed, which the Blessed trait is basically an extra level or 2 on all your troops, especially if it's something like magic, HP, or attack that's actually useful. The next team we have here is the Deep Burrow with 3 Rockworms. I have it set to a blue banner here, so if you have the Water Link, it will fill it up in 1 mana surge. Another reason I don't have it to brown is the enemy AI in this game likes to target whatever mana color you need the most. So if you have this with the +1 on Water Link and the +2 from the banner, the AI will prioritize taking blue gems from you instead of brown. So once you have Deep Burrow up, you'll have plenty of brown gems on the field that will fill all your Rockworms. And then at that point, you can basically just keep looping your Rockworms. Deep Burrow also has the highest chance of any gem spawner to get an extra turn, because he removes a column from the field, making 8 less possible spots where gems can spawn. So his 9 gem spawns can get a lot easier for the extra turn. Plus he gets a little armor on top of that, which will help him not die. And if you get him all the way traded, he'll even have some skull reduction. One good thing about Rockworm spam is it gets quite a few bonuses. He gets, once you get his traits up, he gets +1 life for every brown troop, which will be 3, and +1 magic for each one, which will be another 3. He deals damage to the last enemy, and then creates 7 brown gems, which is the main thing that will help him keep looping, since he spawns his own color gem. One of the only few troops that do that. And since most teams early on in the game don't put good troops in their back slot, you'll be able to wipe through their entire team from the back without having too much of a problem. So that's that. The fifth team we have here is mostly around Direwolf. We have Hero here. You'd want to make him the Warlord class from the very first kingdom. Give him the +4 attack perk, and he'll be able to do a lot of work with this weapon. You'll be able to fill him up with 1 mana match, because it only takes 4 mana to fill this weapon up. So you'll be able to keep casting this. Save it for when you need to just skip a turn if you need to. Like if you only see one available move on the board that you know is going to be bad, save this and you basically just waste that turn, so the AI will have to take it, so you can take all of the gems that cascade from it. Dryad here, we already explained. That will help keep Hero alive and keeps giving it barrier. It'll also help fill Direwolf. Since it creates 8 green gems, what Direwolf does is places Hunter Mark on an enemy. What Hunter Mark does, as mentioned here, is it doubles skull damage that you do to the enemy. So the hero here, you'll have +4 attack on it from the Warlord attack perk, the attack perk, and you can level Warlord too to get even more attack. So you'll have Hero doing that, and you'll have Direwolf who will be making all enemies take twice as much damage. And you see here, if there are 10 or more green gems on the board, he'll get an extra turn. So between Dryad and Goblin Shaman, you'll be able to do a lot with that, because Goblin Shaman creates another 7 green gems, gives some life to an ally, and then gains an extra turn. So you can use this, then use Direwolf, and it's still on your turn. You haven't actually used the turn yet. So that will be pretty powerful early game. And lastly, we have what I actually used at lower levels. This was basically my deck from level 30 to 100, back before traits and kingdom bonuses even existed in the game. It's Templar Paladin. This team is very easy to get since they're both rares. You only actually have to level 2 troops or trait them. Templar gives all allies armor, which will work really well with Paladin's ability. And then transformed all red gems to green, which is Paladin's mana. And based on every red converted, it'll give an extra armor at 5-1 to all allies. And what works really good with him is you can use this team for defend, because he also gives the extra 3 defense. Water Link, which will help fill up his mana quickly. And armor to make sure that he actually can be a good front tank. And Paladin here is still always been powerful pretty much the entire duration of this game. It deals damage to an enemy and then boosts it by his armor at 1-to-1 ratio. So right here you see my specific one is doing 49 damage per cast, because he does 1 damage per every armor he currently has. And Templar raises it even more with his ability. And he has Ear Link and Reinforce. Reinforce will make sure he keeps his armor up. It'll give one more, it'll repair 1 armor towards his max every single turn. And the Air Link is what really makes this good. I don't know why need to switch this banner. You want to go, if you have Paladin traded to Air Link, you'll want to go a yellow banner. What this will do is a standard match will give 3. Once it surges, that will be 6. You then get an extra 1 for each Paladin. So that brings it up to 9, and then the banner brings it up to 11. So if you get a mana surge, 1 single yellow match will completely fill up Paladin to cast. So that will be really powerful, since you can keep casting this over and over again, pretty much every yellow mana match if it happens to surge. So now I'm going to use one of them. Out of all of them that I showed, I'd probably consider Deep Burrow with the 3 Rockworms, or the Templar with the 3 Paladins, to be the most efficient, because you only ever have to trait 2 of them. You only have to level and trait 2 of them, so it'll save a lot of souls and a lot of trait stones, and they're both really effective. I'm trying to find a team that'll actually be decent for these guys, because this is a weaker team to be facing all the way up here, but it works really well in early game. I guess I'll use this team against it. Also, some people like to use this team with Acolyte. I don't mind using Acolyte. It used to be a lot stronger in the past. The only problem I have with Acolyte instead of Deep Burrow is Deep Burrow destroys a column. So you'll be getting all the mana for the destroyed column. Plus it'll be easier for him to get an extra turn. He also tanks a lot better than Acolyte does. And look, you see right there, we got full mana in one match. And now we just have to hope this loops. It probably won't this first one. There's barely any browns on the board. Oh, but we actually got it. This will be this team is pretty luck dependent, but it does do quite a bit of work once it gets started up, which should be next turn. Also, you notice right there, he took the blue, not the brown. When you have so much blue mana right there, bonuses, the enemy will prioritize taking the blues instead of your browns. You'll want to keep as many browns on the field as possible when you have these rockworms. You don't want to take them, nor the enemy taking them. Like right now, we'll probably get an extra turn. Like that. Look at that, all of them filled. So, let's use this. I was going to use Deep Burrow, but I think there's enough that we'll get an extra turn. Or not. I guess I should have used that. Not too big a deal, though. So we get that. Extra turn easy. Use this again. Kill them from the back. No extra turn, but plenty of mana. And don't see anything. Or, you, like right here, you don't want to take those browns because you'll want as many browns on the field to try to get an extra turn off of. It might loop it on the enemy so they take it, but it'll be better to attempt at least getting the extra turn. There's Gloomleaf doing his thing. Shouldn't be too big an issue since he's up front. Not getting too lucky with extra turns, but it shouldn't be too big a deal. The only real thing using brown mana on the enemy team is Gorgotha. So if you scout out teams and make sure the enemy team doesn't have too good of a brown troop, then this team will work a lot greater to it. So if they take a bunch of brown gems, it won't mean that much. Like Gorgotha is not doing too much for this team right now. Also, you notice there, I took a 4x green match that wasn't any other color. You're going to want to remove any colors that you can get extra turns off that aren't brown, but you do want to keep the browns. Never take them if they're an extra turn with this team. Wow, we're getting really unlucky with no extra turns, but it's shipping them down slowly enough and shouldn't be too big an issue. Gorgotha explodes, not doing too much though. And you could take those skulls if you wanted to. I'm not going to do too much with it, since they have a Gloomleaf up front. So now he'll attack with that. Take that. And he has his armored there, so it's not going to do it too much damage. Or at least it'll be reduced slightly. This time I will take this, just to make sure he doesn't get any of that. Because he's going to cast next turn. And just keep looping. Wow. This is really bad luck, unfortunately. But that does happen with this team sometimes. And if you lose Deep Burrow, it won't be too big of an issue. I'll go with that. Destroy the column. No extra turn again. Oh, there we go. Never mind. Finally. Oh, and we just got a map from that. That was nice. Also, right here, you'll notice the gems right up there. You can just take this one right here. Take that extra turn. Oh, and we just got a key. And you'll want to leave those browns. And try... Oh yeah, I'll cast this, not Deep Burrow. We got it. And let's just keep going. Let's see how long it will go. Nope. Only one or two, kind of. Luckily, there's no skulls that I can really do. Could try taking that. I'll just leave it though. It's not too big a deal. That tree. Let's do that. drilled them. Destroyed skulls do 1 damage each. That helps. I'll do this again. Take a lower gem, get the mana for that, then it does that. Plus we got an extra turn off it, so we didn't even waste a turn there. Now we're all filled again, and the next one will kill it. Or never mind, he's going to take even more armor. So annoying. It's not that big a deal though, 2 more shots. There's one, and there's the last one. Yeah, so that's basically how you use it. Really cheap and effective. Rockworm is a common too, so it'll be really easy to get 3 of him. Well, I think that will do it for this video. I hope these teams were helpful, and I definitely advise trying some of them if you're just starting off in this game, because they're really cheap to get and fairly effective until about level 100 to 150, I'd say. But thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.